Welcome back to Soccer Unscripted, the podcast where we dive deep into the world of soccer from every angle. Whether you're a seasoned fan or just starting to explore the sport, this is your go-to place for all things soccer. I'm your host, Daisy Vigueras, and as a soccer enthusiast, I'm here to explore the conversations, debates, and moments that make this sport so captivating. Today, we're sitting down with Tony, the founder of Football Boutique, a spot that's just more than a store. It's a cultural hub for LA's soccer community. From vintage gems to unique drops, Tony has built a space where soccer, fashion, and community come together. In this episode, we'll dive into what inspired him to start Football Boutique, the challenges of building a brand, and how the shop contributes to LA's growing soccer culture. Plus, we'll talk about the events, watch parties, and the future of Football Boutique as it continues to grow. Thank you so much, Tony, for joining me here today on Soccer Unscripted.
Of course, it's my pleasure.
So I just want to start off with, what inspired you to start Football Boutique and how did the idea come to life?
So that's kind of a long story. I'll give you the quick version. But basically, started a streetwear brand back with some friends in 2016. It was like a football streetwear brand, just catered to soccer players. 3 years in, we were doing really well. We got hit with the lawsuit. And that kind of started the end of that streetwear brand. But fortunately, it sparked the idea for the Football Boutique. So throughout those 3 years, I kind of became familiar with like the retail space and some of the other brands and creatives that were out there. And I thought, well, it'd be really cool if we could get like all of those smaller brands under one roof, because I knew their challenges. I knew what they had to go through. And so that was really the inspiration.
And although this starting Football Boutique wasn't your first experience with opening a boutique store, what were some of the biggest challenges in your first year, and how did you overcome it?
The biggest challenges this past year, since we opened our brick and mortar was opened in February of 2024, has really been just, I think, coming to the realization that we're competing with some very powerful entities that have a lot of money, and we're really, that little fish in a big pond.
Moving to culture and community in LA, how would you describe the soccer culture in LA, and how does Football Boutique fit into that?
Football culture in LA, I think, is very raw. I think it's very authentic. And despite a lot of other factors, I think it's flourishing, right? In LA, if you haven't had a chance to travel much, we're really blessed. We have so much to do. The city has so much to offer. And the fact that soccer is still, I think, one of the most popular sports amongst youth, even with two professional football teams, two professional basketball teams, two professional baseball teams, the list goes on and on. The fact that people are still turning out to, watch soccer or take their kids to soccer, it's really crazy.
How have you seen it flourish, the soccer community, from back when you started your old business to now?
I mean, that's only about 8 years. And I think it's flourished by really just, if you open your Instagram up and you follow hypebeasts, soccer's scattered all over there. That wasn't the case 8 years ago. But now you see, celebrities and big fashion house brands gravitating towards soccer, releasing jerseys, releasing just soccer themed collections. So it's definitely flourished in the last 8 years.
And you host events and watch parties. So can you share a favorite moment from one of these events?
Yeah, I think, the one that stands out the most would be our 1 year. So we just celebrated our 1 year this past weekend. And so that would probably be my favorite event. And specifically the moment was taking a step back and just seeing everyone that was in the space, everyone that came out to support, family, loved ones, people I just met like a week prior, and then people I've known for, 8-9 years. So it was really cool to see.
And you focus on vintage gems and unique drops. So what's the rarest or most unique piece that you've sold?
So the most unique piece I've sold, because if it's really unique, like I'm keeping it.
Yeah.
I think would have to be a Real Madrid Hugo Sanchez jersey. Yeah, that one is pretty hard to let go. Fortunately, it was, a close friend, so it's still like in the family, so I get to see it every once in a while.
And you mentioned that you keep some of the rarer items. So what's the rarest item that you've kept?
Oh man, it's hard to really just this week it could be my Barcelona bomber jacket. Next week it could be like the Nike R9s. Yeah, I think it varies week to week.
And what's the process of curating the items you sell by finding them and just locating these rare items?
So I'm always hunting. I'm online looking for pieces that maybe I remembered from my youth. It was that Nike Scorpion commercial. Can I find the ball from that collection? It's either that or just really looking and trying to see what the next up and coming soccer brand is. We work with a lot of smaller brands, boutique brands, creative. So, keeping an eye on what's next. For example, we did a workshop with a local designer named Hood Baby. And she's really blowing up. There's a brand called Unlicensed. They do the denim hand painted jackets, so yeah, curating is a full-time gig. Really trying to find out what's cool, what's popular, and then what's gonna be popular.
You mentioned smaller businesses and social media creators. So how would you say social media impacts Football Boutique?
So social media is probably responsible for a lot of our success. It's a tool that we use daily, whether it's to let people know what we're doing at the space, or it's connecting with, brands or influencers. It's definitely one of the biggest tools that we've used.
And if someone walks into Football Boutique for the very first time, what experience would you like them to have?
So I want them to feel a sense of belonging. I want them to walk into the shop and think, the space is comfortable. It's home. I can walk in and, talk to someone there at the shop about anything related to footy. I can go in, I can shop and find a cool vintage piece, or I can sit down and watch a game, grab a cup of coffee, do some work. So I just want them to feel like it's very inviting and homey and a sense of belonging.
And when creating your location, were those thoughts put into that, or creating an atmosphere that you want customers to experience?
Definitely. Before I really settled on a place, I knew that it was going to be more than retail. I wanted it to be a place that you can just know that you can go and just watch, play, do anything related to soccer.
And why vintage and rare items, soccer items?
I think because vintage soccer jersey can tell so much about you, about a person. So I think it really represents your identity, right? So let's say you're from, Spain and you're from Valencia. You can throw on a Valencia jersey and you feel like it represents you. And then the vintage aspect, I think it tells a story. Maybe your dad was a big Valencia fan and he told you all about the team. And so I think every piece has a story, and I think it helps identify who you are.
Would you say there's a vintage piece that identifies who you are as a person?
Ooh, I would have to say it's the merch that we've been dropping lately. Like, it's gonna just be, pieces that we created with the football boutique team. There's like a sense of pride that I take when you create something, you share it with the world, and the world like accepts it and wants a piece of it. So I think the pieces that we've made.
And what's been the biggest lesson you've learned in your years of business?
Oh, I've learned a lot of lessons. The biggest lesson would be just not to give up, to follow your dreams. I mean, it sounds maybe a little cliche, but really it's, and that's really like the story of the football boutique, right? Had I given up when we had that lawsuit, like we wouldn't be here. The shop wouldn't be around. So I think that's what I would say the biggest lesson is, just don't give up.
And you have a flourishing, such an amazing environment of soccer and vintage items. So how would you say soccer, like what is soccer to you? Or what does soccer mean to you, like personally?
Again, like just another cliche, I guess, is to me, football is life. Like, and I've said it before, and that statement still like hits. Like, it's really, fortunately, it's been my a part of my youth. So grew up playing it. Then it was a part of my entertainment, watching it, playing it like on FIFA, and now it's fortunately like a like my business. Yeah, so it's everything.
It's amazing. Who would you say is your biggest inspiration in starting Football Boutique?
Without a doubt, my mom. I think without her, like, I don't think I have the capacity to even like overcome a lot of the obstacles that I face. So her always encouraging me, her words of wisdom, and seeing and hearing about her struggles, like, have made me just continue to pursue what I want.
And what's next for Football Boutique? Any exciting plans for year 2?
We do have some exciting plans that we can't share just yet.
They're in the vault.
So but follow us on Instagram, and we'll have those details shortly.
And if you could collaborate with any brand, player, or team, who would it be and why?
I think the easy answer is Ronaldinho. I think he means so much to so many people. But I'll give you another one. I would love a collaboration with Hector Bellerin. I think he embodies like football fashion. I think he's so cool. Like, I think a collaboration with him would be really cool.
And to leave the viewers off with something, what is a piece of advice you would give someone attempting to start their own soccer merchandise store?
I think first and foremost, you gotta love it. So make sure that you love it. Make sure that you're willing to sacrifice. And like I said before, just don't give up. Keep working at it, and trust the process.
Well, thank you so much, Tony. You've given some amazing insights and some great information, and having people keep a lookout for the Football Boutique's Instagram to see what's coming for year 2. So thank you for being on the Soccer Unscripted podcast.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Once again, thanks for kicking it with me here on Soccer Unscripted. I'm your host, Daisy Vigueras, and this is The End of the Game.